Hi, Collective. It's Shania. Collective, I want to read something to you all, okay? And I don't know why I said that. I say stuff like that. You all, right? Okay, Collective, I would like to read to you, okay? Let me first sound off the throat tuning chakra. Oop. Forgive me, Collective. Oop. Forgive me, Collective. Thank you, Archangel Michael. All right, Collective. I was looking through my son's homework to make, look at his grades and everything. I hadn't done it in a while, okay? My son's real responsible when it comes to his schoolwork, right? But I haven't done it in a while. I still have to do my part, right? But look, I know that he's grown in writing so much, Collective, okay? He used to write not so well, right? But like he had a teacher one year and she really just inspired him, right? And shout out to her. She know who she is, right? If she was to ever hear this video. But it's beautiful, Collective, okay? This paper he had written, a short paper, is called The Argument, okay? And this was a situation between him and I that I had completely forgot about. And when I read this, I said, this is what he's talking about, right? And he really described me to a T when he says how the quietness was the worst part, okay? But look, my daughter will always tell me that. All right, but let me read, y'all. It's called The Argument. I think it was one of the worst fights I ever had with my mom. It didn't even start out as something big. Honestly, I don't even remember what the argument was about. Just that it started small and it grew into something bigger than it should have been. I was already in a bad mood that day, and instead of calming down, I just let myself get more and more frustrated. My mom was telling me something. I don't even know if it was about chores, school, or just advice, but I didn't want to hear it. I snapped back at her, and the argument started to build. My words kept getting sharper, and I didn't care how they came out. I wanted to win the fight, even though there wasn't really anything to win. Then I said it. I wish you would go away. The second those words left my mouth, I knew I had crossed a line. It was like the whole room froze. My mom stopped talking. She didn't yell back at me or argue anymore. She just went quiet. For a second time, I thought maybe she didn't hear me. But then I looked at her face. Her eyes looked like they were holding back tears, and she turned away from me. I had never seen her look like that before. That silence hit me harder than if she had yelled at me. Usually when we fought, it was loud and messy. Now, we didn't have loud and messy fights, but maybe that was like it for him, okay, Collective? My son's not used to fighting, okay? This time it was just still. And the stillness made me realize how badly I had hurt her. The rest of the day felt weird. The house was quiet, almost like it knew what I had done. Normally there's noise in the background, talking, laughter, or even just the TV, but not that day. I couldn't even look her in the eyes. I stayed in my room for a while, and all I could think about was what I said. I kept replaying it in my head, and each time it felt worse. I started to feel ashamed, like I was the worst kid in the world for saying that to the one person who has always been there for me. Lying in bed that night, I thought about all the times my mom had helped me when I was sick, or comforted me when I was upset. She had been there for every little part of my life. and I had just told her to go away. It was like throwing everything she ever did for me right back in her face. I don't think I've ever felt guilt hit me that hard before. The next morning, I knew I had to say something. I walked into the kitchen where she was making breakfast. I wanted to just grab something to eat and walk out, but I knew that wasn't right. I stood there for a second, then finally said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it." She looked at me for a moment, and then her face softened. "I know you didn't mean it," she said, "but it still hurt." Hearing her say that broke me. It was true. I didn't mean it. I was just angry and wanted to throw the harshest words I could at her. But just because I didn't mean it didn't make it any less real for her. Words don't disappear after you say them. They land, they stick, and sometimes they leave scars. I went over and hugged her, and she hugged me back. In that moment, it felt like everything was okay again, but I knew deep down that I had learned something important. I learned that words carry more power than I thought. They can build someone up or they can tear someone down. And once they're out, you can't take them back. Looking back now, I'm kind of glad it happened. Even though it hurt me at the time, the fight taught me a lesson I needed to learn. Think before you speak. It also showed me how strong my mom is and how much she loves me, even when I mess up. I hurt her, but she chose to forgive me anyway. That moment will always stay with me. It's not just a memory of a fight. It's a reminder that the people you love the most are the ones you have to be the most careful with. It's proof that even when you make mistakes, love can still win in the end. Okay, collective? It's a beautiful writing, and I am so grateful, collective. This is a lesson for me, okay? And that's why we have to protect our children, okay? Because what's the saying? Out of the mouth of babes, collective, okay? Let's add comes great wisdom. All right, collective. If you like the video, collective, like the video.